If you're having to chase clients as well for payment, then it's also wondering, is this the client you want to work with? I'm very sensitive to people's vibrations, and I feel extremely drained after just 3 or 4 clients within a day. With the growing rise of people either getting the wrong end of the stick of what massage therapy is, or maybe just trying their luck, we're having to take extra precautions in clinic to protect ourselves from inappropriate messaging, inappropriate behaviour in clinic, sexual harassment, sexual advances, so on. They have a really good understanding of what it is that I offer, and most importantly, what I do not. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Massage Therapist Q&A series by Massage Warehouse. My name is Bethany Jane Wynn, and I'm an advanced clinical massage therapist based in London, and I will be your host for this series. Let's dive straight in. Question number 1. I'm looking for tips on clients who constantly reschedule. I have a long-term client of mine who has been with me for years, but is very unreliable. She's rescheduled 6 times in a row through my online booking system, always with at least 48 hours notice, but it's starting to really frustrate me. Any tips here? I feel my first answer here would be to have a conversation with the client. Is there anything that you could do on your end to support them, whether it be offering them last minute bookings for when it's more convenient for them, or explaining to them really authentically on, I suppose, how your business runs and how sometimes you might find it in particular really hard to fill the booking space with 48 hours notice. We do that to protect ourselves as massage therapists, but sometimes even with 48 hours notice, it's really hard to fill those gaps. So maybe having that honest conversation. Have you tried maybe putting in a deposit system? Or maybe in your T's and C's explaining that you can only reschedule once or twice per booking, and after that it would be a non-refundable place, or maybe a discussion on whether the client and therapist, I suppose, relationship there is working or not. Obviously we want to be really careful with our wording, and we also want to celebrate the fact that we have regular clients. However, we have a business to run, we've got overheads that we need to pay, and sometimes it is frustrating when we can't fill those spaces.
It's competition time. So we want to give you a free premium full round bolster, and it's worth £22, and we're going to give this to one lucky viewer. All you need to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Have you learned something from this episode? Or have you any thoughts or insights from the discussion? We'd love to hear your thoughts and key takeaways. Share them in the comments, and we'll randomly pick just one of the comments, and we'll get in touch with the winner and send you that premium full round bolster, and it's that easy. So get liking, get subscribing, and get commenting. Good luck, enjoy the rest of the episode.
Question number 2. I've noticed I can't find much aftercare advice for therapists on releasing client energy after you've worked with them. I'm very sensitive to people's vibrations, and I feel extremely drained after just 3 or 4 clients within a day. I get heavy eyes, body and head, and it can take up to a full day to feel normal again. I've heard of things like massaging barefoot on the ground to support, I suppose, to ground energy. Does anyone else experience this? And what helps you? Like we've discussed before with Massage Warehouse, we do hold a lot with our clients, and when we're holding a safe space, we can sometimes take that energy away with us. And what we need to try and do is make sure that we leave work at work and then have that time for our own self-care and our own self post the treatment day. One of the things I took away from this question was the therapist who posted this question, and thank you once again, mentioned about feeling this after just 3 or 4 clients. Now, 3 or 4 clients is quite a lot of clients in a day, and if you're doing an hour and a half, 2-hour treatments as well, it's really quite draining on the body. So knowing your limits and your threshold as a therapist is really handy here. Knowing that if you go above 4 clients, you're really going to feel it and it's going to take you a while to bounce back, then that's your benchmark as a therapist, and you don't want to work above that. So do you want to work more days but less time to support yourself with that? Maybe breath work at the start of the day? What are you doing after your treatments? Maybe a bit of yoga, a bit of stretching, all the advice that we give our lovely clients. Can we be listening to it ourselves? And I suppose making sure that you've got time in between your clients as well, so that you're not just rushing back to back to back. Have you got time to decompress, write down some notes, journal, and leave the thoughts there to then be able to start fresh and new, not only for your next client, but for yourself? We hope this helps. Question 3. Which bank account do you use for your business account? And would you recommend them? I'm comparing options and keen to hear what works for you, especially for customer service, ease of use, and their additional fees. Bonus points here if you are a sole trader or a small therapy business owner. Now, there's lots of different banks that you could look at. I believe there's Stripe, you could use Monzo Business, Revolut. I use SumUp. Now, SumUp in my clinic is super handy. I can raise invoices from both my phone and the laptop version of the website. I can also take payment in person, either with a card reader, or recently SumUp have introduced pay tap to iPhone through the app, which is super handy when I'm on the go. I also like how they send me a digital download every month, so I can see what I've earned, and if there's any invoices outstanding, they chase invoices for you. They also send out receipts. You can get the free version of SumUp, but I pay for the additional service to be able to use it on the go, get unlimited invoices, and also use their app, which is really handy in clinic. Question 4. Has anyone tried corporate massage? I've been working from home for the last 2 months, and a local business developer suggested offering 2 to 3 hours in offices a couple of times a month to help grow my business. I'm thinking of getting a massage chair. Any pros, any cons, or tips on getting started? How exciting is it to diversify and offer different ways to work with potential clients? Corporate massage is fantastic. Not only can you set your benchmarks a little bit higher for your pay, you can also, I suppose, meet new clients for one-on-one work by offering your services. Whether you were in the corporate setting doing a 15-minute chair massage, you could leave your leaflets there and say, I would love to work with you further, follow my Instagram, get subscribed to my website, and book in for a one-on-one treatment. Question 5. What's your policy on new male clients? I usually only take referrals from either the wives or the girlfriends who've booked them in, but after advertising on social media, I've had quite a few new bookings, and I just wondered if anyone has any advice on how to screen with people who might be asking with wrong intentions. Personally, I believe no matter how you identify, you should be able to get a treatment. You are worthy and deserving. However, with the growing rise of people either getting the wrong end of the stick of what massage therapy is, or maybe just trying their luck, we're having to take extra precautions in clinic to protect ourselves from inappropriate messaging, inappropriate behaviour in clinic, sexual harassment, sexual advances, so on. I understand where this client is coming from. Now, for me in my clinic, I have it very clear in my terms and conditions that I do not offer any inappropriate behaviour. I do not tolerate it either. And if you consent for a treatment with me, you agree to those terms. I have that across my booking confirmation. I also have a little bit of information about it at my social media. So no matter where my clients book in, whether that's through an Instagram direct message, a Facebook message, or directly through email on my website, they have a really good understanding of what it is that I offer, and most importantly, what I do not. Question 6. If a customer pays via bank transfer, how long would you wait for the payment to come through? I'm assuming it should be right after the treatment or by the latest that evening, but what would you recommend? Once again, I think this comes down to how you run your business. For me, I don't take bank transfers. I like to have either invoice or tap to iPhone in my clinic. And more often than not, I like the client to have paid for their treatment before they come in. Mainly so that this covers my overheads, this covers in case they don't show with a moment's notice, it covers my rent, it covers everything else that I need to cover myself as the sole worker, the massage therapist. If you're taking bank transfers, you could maybe say to them, I would prefer you to either maybe pay a partial deposit before your treatment as a bank transfer or pay within the room. I would be wanting them to pay within the day for sure. If you're having to chase clients as well for payment, then it's also wondering, is this the client you want to work with? Are they aligning with your business values? And if you're having to chase people for money, is there a better way to screen yourself and protect yourself? Either taking bookings through a website, a booking system, or raising an invoice and explaining in your terms and conditions that they have to pay it before they come in. Thank you so much for watching the Massage Therapist Q&A series brought to you by Massage Warehouse. If you have any questions, thoughts, or experiences that you'd like to share, be sure to drop them in the description below. And if you have a question that you would like to be answered on the next series, be sure to add that too and we will answer it. We are on a mission to grow a community of massage therapists online that is supportive and engaging, and we would love for you to be a part of it. So be sure to check the links in the description below on how you can become a part of our wonderful growing community. And in the meantime, be sure to take care of yourself and each other.